Hello and welcome everyone. Today we are going to look at some of the top tier national idea sets that were introduced in the Emperor update. The new update has brought in a lot of new tags, most of them around HRA area and some in Italy, while there also have been a few new formable nations, and then there have been changes to the existing set of national ideas for few European nations as well. So let's look at my list of top 10 most OP new idea sets. These idea sets are just the ones that were changed in this new patch. The older ones, the Yuan, Mughals and Ottomans are still the top tier ideas, and a couple of new ones might actually join them. At number 10 we have the new and improved idea set for Denmark. Danish ideas used to be a weird mishmash of army, naval and religious bonuses. It was a very average idea set. Now, however, the devs have steered the idea towards more naval focus. Denmark starts with ship durability and tax modifiers, then we get extra shock damage, manpower and sailor modifier. And considering manpower is going to be an even more valuable resource, any bonus to manpower is great. Naval morale and ship disengagement chance is next. The disengagement chance is a new naval warfare mechanic, and this new mechanic is going to make naval battle way more viable in the new patch. Then the build cost reduction, the naval maintenance modifier, which is okay, naval force limit, which is useful when you're playing as a naval superpower, national unrest, which is always amazing, and finally the finisher of naval engagement with, which again is amazing for winning naval battles. Now on the surface, these ideas might not seem strong as we don't play a pure naval game often, but if you are going to play a full naval playstyle, Denmark is the way to go now. There are some great naval modifiers in here. And I think Great Britain might still be the best naval power, but in the hands of a player, Denmark can be the water Prussia. At number 9, we have a surprise entry for Dalmatia. Dalmatia is a new releasable tag in the Dalmatian Coast. Kingdom of Dalmatia was a real kingdom under Habsburg Austrian Empire. It didn't last very long though, but hopefully in game you will fare better, especially given their idea set. Dalmatia starts with trade efficiency and army morale bonuses. Being in the Venice trade node, trade efficiency will be helpful. An early game morale bonus is always nice. The first idea is reform growth progress and national unrest. Both here are pretty good ideas. The unrest is obviously good. And now as a republic, you get reform growth modifier from Republican tradition. So getting even faster reform progress is amazing. You will be able to burn through the government reforms fairly quickly. The foreign trade power is nice when you will expand into the Constantinople node. Accepted cultures is a nice bonus as well. The institution spread is weak, but 5% F cost is pretty good. Next is the infantry compatibility to fight the Ottomans and the Austro-Hungarians in near future. Then naval force limit modifier, which is nice because again, you will be fighting the Mediterranean naval powers. And the finisher, the cherry on top, is 15% core creation cost discount, which I don't need to tell you is great. And the bonus of naval morale fits in well too. Dalmatia could prove to be one of the fun nations to play in the new patch. At number 8 we have Switzerland. Switzerland doesn't have CCR or morale or unrest modifiers, but they made it to the top 8 in my list, just on the backs of those mercenaries. Mercenaries in the new patch are going to be a limited resource, unlike previous patches where you could just spam mercs. Now you'll have to watch out for their manpower and costs. Playing as Switzerland will make all that easier, as we start with merc maintenance modifier and infantry compatibility. Next is 5% more merc discipline and 50% more merc manpower, which is insanely good. Next is tolerance of heretics for post-reformation stability. Then stab cost modifier, which is always handy to have. The next idea is also super strong with minus 20% fort maintenance and 25% more defensiveness. This means you can spam forts in your mountain provinces and they will be very hard to siege down. And in the new patch, attrition is going to be a major killer. So you can just hide in your mountains, send your mercs to fight the enemies and watch your enemies' manpower drain to 0. Next is dev cost of 10%, which is great, and then +1 yearly prestige. Last one is the production efficiency modifier for the nice little economy bump, and for finisher you get +5% discipline. Overall, Switzerland ideas are more for tall play or role play as neutral Switzerland. You can also do an easier Switzerlake with these ideas though. However, these ideas are not the best for world conquests. In the number 7 spot is another new farmable tag with Sonora. It's a farmable tag in the new world. We start with tax modifier and prestige, then the merc bonuses, which are amazing in the new patch. Then comes everyone's favorite minus 10% core creation cost. Next is inflation reduction, which is also helpful as you will expand into Mexico and take over all those sweet gold mines. Next is fire damage for those strong late game artilleries, then light ship cost and privateer efficiency to stifle the surrounding colonial nations. There's also the 33% land force limit, and then a rare 15% movement bonus, which I personally like a lot, and more prestige from battles. And we finish with +1 leader siege, which is always great. So overall, it's a very well-rounded idea set, and it includes a core creation cost discount. Also in the new patch, in order to form nations in colonial regions, you can just take some provinces in the new world and leave your old world provinces behind and change tax. A Sonora playthrough might be a fun one here. At number 6, we have a surprise entry with Saluzzo. It's also a 1 province minor new tag in Italy. Saluzzo starts with minus 15% aggressive expansion impact and 10% infantry compatibility. The AE reduction starting in Italy is really helpful, as I'm sure most of us here have suffered coalitions when taking provinces in Italy. Next is the trade power modifier, which is again nice because we are in the rich Genoa trade node. Then we get goods produce modifier, which is the best economic modifier you can get. Next we have the army morale, then 15% movement speed bonus, 20% trade steering, which again super helpful to get more trade power in Genoa trade node. Some unrest reduction with tolerance of true faith, and some missionary strength bonus for post-reformation plans. Then another economic idea, and for the finisher we get 15% core creation cost discount. The start with Saluzzo will be tricky, but if you can survive the first few decades, you'll be an unstoppable force with the riches of Italy to plunder. In number 5 spot, we have the much anticipated new tag of 2 Sicilies. We start with army morale and manpower modifier, then one of the best ideas in early game, tech cost reduction, followed by national unrest modifier is amazing. And +1 possible policy is also helpful late game. Navy tradition bonus isn't that strong, but since you are playing in the Mediterranean, it's not that bad. Next is 10% core creation cost discount. Then ship trade power bonus, which will be helpful in securing trade ducats in the rich Mediterranean nodes. Then navy morale for naval dominance, and 10% goods produced modifier. The finisher gives more prestige, which is always a good thing. Fairly well-rounded idea set in my opinion, especially considering 2 Sicilies is easy to farm as Naples, and the 2 Sicilies share their idea set with the releasable nation of Sicily. Sicily used to have the generic Italian ideas, but now they have been upgraded. At number 4, we have another much anticipated new tag of Lothringia. You can farm Lothringia as Burgundy, and there's even an achievement for it. Burgundian ideas are already fairly good, but Lothringia beats them any day. We start with infantry compatibility and manpower modifiers, then prestige decay followed by army morale. All combat bonuses for the mid-game domination. Then we get trade efficiency bonus to get even more ducats from the English Channel, then idea cost discount, which is super useful. Then we get even more prestige and +1 advisor pool. We also get an additional missionary to deal with things post-reformation. And the last idea gives a 20% core creation cost discount so you can eat up Europe faster, especially combined with the finisher of minus 10% aggressive expansion. Lothringia ideas look solid, and considering they have an achievement, albeit not that hard to complete, you will definitely see some Lothringia runs from players. We are finally into top 3, and the number 3 spot goes through everyone's beloved toothpaste, Sardinia Piedmont, who got some fresh ideas in the new patch. These newly minted ideas are far superior than the old ones, and 9 out of 10 EU4 players will recommend the new ones every time. We start with a minus 10% idea cost discount, which is OP because you will unlock the other ideas even cheaper. And improved relations modifier is also helpful for that AE decay when expanding in Europe. +1 Diplo upkeep is always a good bonus to have. 25% defensiveness bonus is massive in the new patch. You can protect your mainland with some strong fort defenses. +1 papal influence and prestige are also great. The discipline and manpower modifiers makes for slightly easier warfare. Then development cost and 10% core creation cost is amazing. It's going to save you a ton of monarch points. Next is the goods produce modifier for the economy bump. minus 10% AE for when you start pushing into HRE, and the finisher with tax modifier for that extra little economic boost. It's another fairly well-rounded idea set, and I think it plays well with where you will be expanding as Sardinia Piedmont. I think some of you might have figured out the top 2 by now. If not, well, the number 2 spot goes to Germany, who starts with +1 legitimacy and 15% infantry compatibility, then -2 unrest, which is super OP, and 10% tech discounts, which sounds great on paper, but by the time you farm Germany, you are already at tech 20, so it's not that impactful. +5 discipline is great, then trade efficiency to support the economy, more army tradition for stronger German armies, and then we get to the most OP idea in all game, +5% admin efficiency bonus. It's a rare one, and basically just this idea pushed Germany over many others. Last one is 20% goods produced, not the usual 10%, it's a 20% bonus, which is just mind-blowingly amazing. And the finisher gives +1 Diplo slot for those vassals. Germany used to be farmable in past patches as well, but there was no real reason to farm it. I think we will definitely see more of Germany in EU4 now. However, you still have to wait till Admin Tech 20 to farm Germany. And the number 1 idea set in the new patch goes to, if you haven't figured it out yet, the new HRE. Old HRE did not have an idea set at all, but that's changed now. We start with +1 possible policy and +2 Diplo reputation, which are great bonuses. Then +1.5 legitimacy, followed by 15% army morale, matching most army morale bonuses in game. Then the improved relation modifier for faster AE decay, 20% tax modifier for more money, 20% core creation cost for faster expansion, 5% discipline because apparently 15% morale wasn't enough, plus 10% governing cap, which is going to be useful when you go on crazy expansion mode with HRE, especially since you also get plus 5% admin efficiency as the finisher. If that isn't an OP idea set, I don't know what is. And now finally, we have a reason to actually farm HRE rather than just keeping the HRE vassal swarm alive. I mean, the vassal swarm is still too powerful, but there's something nice about having clean borders and a new tag. And this new and improved HRE will give you enough incentives to do it. And that's my list of top 10 national idea sets in the new patch. I think sometime I should do an overall ranking on the idea sets for all nations. But this is it for now. I'm curious to know which ones are you most excited about playing, and were you surprised by some of the choices here, or have you found some other hidden gem? Let me know in comments. You are watching a Radio's Guide. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you all in the next one.